In the dead of night, when the world sleeps, shadows come alive with whispers of the unknown. These are the stories that linger in the dark, tales of fear, mystery, and the unexplainable.
The streets of the small town were eerily quiet as we approached, an unsettling contrast to the chaos brewing in the lab. Jamie, Mark, and I stepped out of the car, equipped with masks and gear, ready to investigate. Flickering streetlights illuminated the abandoned homes, casting long shadows that danced along the pavement. It felt like we were trespassing into a world caught between normalcy and something sinister. As we arrived at the local health clinic, things only got more surreal. Walls lined with faded posters promoting health and wellness now stood in stark opposition to the chaos that lay within. The reception area was cluttered with concerned faces, people clamoring for answers. Doctors and nurses rushed about, their faces drawn and tired. "Let's split up," I suggested, my mind adrift with anxiety. "Jamie, you take the medical reports. Mark, check in with the staff and see what they've encountered. I'll talk to some of the patients." We nodded, and as I moved from room to room, I listened to their symptoms: severe coughing, high fevers, and peculiar neurological disturbances. I scribbled everything down, searching for any clues that tied this outbreak back to our lab findings. In one room, a young woman clutched her chest, her breath shallow. "I don't know what's happening," she said, tears streaming down her face. "It's like my body is on fire, but I'm freezing at the same time." Her description echoed what I'd read about cordyceps adapting to extreme temperatures, and goosebumps prickled my skin. It was all fitting a chilling pattern, one that seemed to connect the dots in ways I hadn't anticipated. Returning to the waiting area, I found Jamie poring over patient records. Some of these cases had contact with garden centers or local farms shortly before symptoms appeared, she said, her voice tinged with urgency. "That's interesting," Mark interjected, joining us. "If these commercial plants had some kind of contamination with the cordyceps samples, it could heighten the spread." I felt my heart race. We have to trace those sources back. If we can contain this at the origin, we might still stave off a full outbreak. As night descended, we formed a plan. We would visit local farms and gardens to gather samples, hoping to find the missing link. Tension hung palpably in the air as we exited the clinic and embarked on our mission. The first farm we visited looked normal on the surface, but the owner, a wiry man named Henry, eyed us warily. "What do you want with my crops?" he questioned, his voice cautious. "We need to investigate potential contamination," Mark replied. "Have you noticed any unusual growth or behavior in your plants?" He hesitated but eventually led us to a greenhouse filled with unkempt vines and fungi. As we stepped inside, my heart sank. Among the various plants, I spotted clusters of cordyceps mushrooms sprouting, their colors vibrant yet otherworldly. "I didn't plant those," Henry said, bewildered. "They just showed up overnight." My mind raced, connecting the dots. "These could be a crucial part of the outbreak," I whispered to Jamie and Mark. "If they're hardy enough to survive here, they might have found a way into the human population." Just as we gathered samples, a loud crash echoed from outside. We rushed back to see a commotion, several townspeople behaving erratically, their bodies twitching and their faces twisted in panic. "They're infected," someone shouted from the crowd. Panic spread through our small group. "We need to contain this before it spirals out of control," Jamie yelled. "We can't allow them to spread it." As we scrambled to get people to safety, I glanced back at the musky greenhouse and the cordyceps lurking inside. What if this was just the beginning? The questions loomed like shadows in my mind. Could we truly contain this new threat, or had we stumbled upon something far worse than we could ever imagine?